Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you quickly how to improve the startup speed for almost any Windows operating system. There's a couple things that are built right into Windows that will improve your overall speed of just starting up your computer. You do it every day, and if you can shave about 10 seconds off, it's quite worth it. The tool we're going to be using is MSCONFIG. You can get to it in various ways, but most often you can just search it up, MSConfig, it should pop up no problem. Or you can just type MSConfig right into command prompt and it should pop up. And what we're going to do here is basically we're going to disable services in programs that start up when Windows start up. And the less programs that we have to load for Windows as it starts up, the easier it's going to be. There's other options you can also do for improving boot speeds, such as purchasing an SSD or a hybrid drive for your boot drive. I mean, not everybody can afford this, so it's not feasible for everybody, but if you can afford an SSD, it improves performance over hard drives an immense amount. The other thing we can also do is disable old drivers. So before I get into the MSConfig, I'm gonna look at my add and remove programs. So if you go to your computer, go to uninstall or change programs, and you'll get something like this. Often you can scan through this, and if there's any old drivers for hardware that you no longer have, you can uninstall it just by double clicking it, or doing it that way. This way it's a lot more risky because uninstalling drivers isn't recommended, especially if you don't know what the driver's for. But if you do know that, for instance, here's my Intel network card. Like if I were to uninstall this, I probably couldn't connect to the internet anymore. But say this was an old network card, I have a new one and I had a different driver, I can certainly uninstall this, and that would boost the speed of startup, as Windows wouldn't have to load that driver anymore. You can also look at in a more in-depth for old drivers in your device manager. It's in your control panel, but you can search it up again. And again, you can go through all your hardware basically and look at drivers for everything and uninstall them that way. Like I said, it's a little more riskier, but at least it is a way to get rid of some old drivers if you know you have some. So now, back to MSConfig. Well, generally, what we're going to do here is we're going to go into the boot tab and we're going to go to advanced options. Now a lot of times if you check mark this number of processors and set this to the highest value, it's going to use all the cores and all your processing power possible when starting up your computer. This means it's going to put a full load on your processor to make sure that it is getting the job done as fast as possible, pretty much. So that's a way to ensure that you're using up all your possible resources. Second, we'll go to services. Now, I recommend always clicking hide all Microsoft services because we're not going to want to disable any of Microsoft services. Many of them are used to run your OS, so disabling those is not recommended. Now, we do have other things like Adobe Acrobat Update Service. Technically, we can manually update Acrobat whenever we want, so having that service running when we start up is not feasible. Same with Flash Player and many other update services. Unless it's critical, such as a security system, it really isn't needed at startup. So you can see I have tons here, like Skype Updater, Steam Client Service, not needed. NVIDIA Display Driver Service, now that is needed. That's part of your graphics card, and that is a driver that must be basically started every time you start up your Windows. So essentially, you can go through your list of everything you have, and I mean the internet's your tool. If you do not know what a certain service is, just Google it. Like I got one here, DTS Audio SVC. Type that in, and bam, Realtek HD Audio. There's tons of articles that explain what all these services are and the manufacturer of them. Now we'll go back to startup. Now this is where we're going to remove programs that automatically start up when Windows starts up. You can see I've already unchecked tons of startup items like uTorrent, QuickTime, iTunes. Pretty much most things can be unchecked at this point. CCleaner, don't need that. NVIDIA, I wouldn't touch those. Microsoft services, wouldn't touch those. And even security systems, I wouldn't touch those. But general applications like media applications like QuickTime, iTunes, VMware, WReader, those don't necessarily have to be started up when Windows starts up. This generally is a guideline to follow, but if you can, the more boxes you can uncheck without affecting how the operating system runs, generally the faster your system will boot up. If you have any questions, feel free to send them our way. Thanks. See you guys.